Welcome to Rathalos Watch. Today we'll be going over an additional 47 new gameplay changes and insights we've gathered from the developers and content creators at Monster Hunter Wilds showcase at Gamescom. If you haven't seen our first video covering 31 insane details, click the card in the top right to check it out. Stick around until the end of this video. Some of these changes might be controversial for long-time Monster Hunter fans. If you love Monster Hunter Wilds, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Also, the official Discord for Rathalos Watch is now open. Link is in the description and comments, so feel free to join. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. Here we can see how Balahara creates a sand pit to cause chaos during the fight. Since Doshaguma is a pack animal, the alpha and his companions started sinking into the sand pit. The two smaller ones didn't make it, but the alpha Doshaguma was strong enough to escape. I think it's really cool how you can use other monsters' traps and setups to your advantage. However, be careful. If you're not aware of your surroundings or don't get out in time, you can also sink into the sand pit. If that happens, then you will be forcibly transported into a different subterranean areas of the map. This can also happen to the monsters as well. They do not die instantly or anything like that for being caught in the sand pit. Using the sand pits is another strategic way to isolate the alpha Doshaguma from its companions. It's also worth noting that, according to the developers, the sand pit will not work the same for every monster. Number 2. You can choose to pin a monster in the map menu to make it your target. By doing so, not only will it lead you to where the monster is, but also show you how much time you have left to slay him until the monster leaves the locale. The timer is an interesting addition. Previously, players never really knew how much time they had left to kill something when out on an expedition. I think this is a nice quality of life change because now you can decide whether you think you can slay a monster in the given time. Number 3. The environment overview is a new menu that lets you see which monsters will be on the field and what conditions will be present. You can also scroll left or right on the timeline using the D-pad to check upcoming situations at any given time. I found this to be an interesting mechanic and not something I expected. It seems useful for planning your hunts for the next 10 to 30 minutes. I'm not sure how much I'll personally use it, but it's a convenient feature to have. Number 4. You can use your hook slinger to break the Fulgurite pillar when Balahara is climbing it. Not only will this cause damage to the Balahara and make him fall down, but your palico will also set up a shock trap to assist you. This is an absolutely amazing addition if you ask me, and it's pure teamwork. I can't wait to troll Balaharas with this. Number 5. In Monster Hunter Wilds, you'll sometimes encounter a new type of a bug called Vigor Mantle, which clings to the environment. You can use your hook slinger to grab them for an instant heal during intense battles. This is yet another way to use the environment to your advantage. Do you think there are too many ways to heal during fights now? Let me know in the comments what you think of the Vigor Mantle bugs. Number 6. In this clip, we see something new from the palicos. They're not only trash-talking the monster as shown in the subtitles, but also performing a taunting animation to draw aggro on Balahara, giving the hunter a chance to finish it off. Along with trapping monsters, this makes palicos even more valuable. I love how the AI becomes more useful with each new generation of Monster Hunter. Number 7. Underwater diving and exploration are making a return to Monster Hunter Wilds as shown here. You can dive into the cavernous areas of Windward Plains to explore caves and gather crafting materials. However, before you get too excited, the developers have confirmed that underwater combat will not be returning in Monster Hunter Wilds. The underwater sections are solely for traversal and exploration. Number 8. You can also set up pop-out camps in the more secluded and secure areas like the underground cavern system in Windward Plains shown here. The only downside is that these camps are quite far from the hunting fields, but that's part of their design. On the plus side, there are plenty of materials to gather in these areas, so if you're running low on resources, you can always return here to restock. Number 9. Players will have the freedom to choose the size and composition of their hunting party in the full game. You can opt for 1 additional hunter and 2 palicos, or 2 hunters and 1 palico. If you prefer, you can also go completely solo without any companions. This can be adjusted by talking to Alma. Although this feature wasn't included in the demo build, it will be available in the final retail version of the game. I think this flexibility is fantastic, allowing everyone to play the way they want. To me, it acts as an indirect difficulty slider though. Personally, I prefer playing solo without palicos or any NPCs. I enjoy one-on-one combat with a giant beast. What about you? Do you prefer playing with friends and having NPCs help? Or are you a solo hunter like me? Let me know in the comments. Number 10. In this clip, we get to see what it looks like to sever Balahara's tail with a switch axe. Additionally, if you're caught up in the fight and accidentally forgot to carve the tail, Alma will come around on her sacred to signal that there's still a tail to be carved. I think this is a great detail and much better than hearing a repetitive alert sound to let you know you missed something. Number 11. One interesting detail that developers didn't mention is the new shiny item called the Ancient Wyvern Coin. It appears to be a new type of a collectible item that grants points during the demo. It seemed to provide 10 points. I'm not sure how the point system will be used in this game or how it will work. Also, I should mention that shiny items now have a gold tint and a small horizontal light pillar to make them more visible. This is a great improvement, making it much easier to spot shinies. Number 12. explosives will put fire on the grass and will eventually burn it. Here we can see a heavy bowgun powering up for a huge blast, and right after the explosion, the grass gets set on fire and eventually burns away. I love small details like this, makes everything feel a lot more believable and immersive. And number 13, in Monster Hunter Wilds, after completing a multiplayer quest, the Hunter highlights screen will appear, showcasing what each hunter performed best at. For example, you can see who activated the most traps, provided the most healing buffs, landed the most large barrel hits on a monster, and delivered most focus strikes on wounds. This feature returns from Monster Hunter World, so you can either tease your friends or give yourself a well-deserved pat on the back. Number 14, if you look closely at the map, you'll notice that Doshaguma has a skull symbol next to it. This icon indicates that the monster is near death and will be displayed on both the map and the radar. This feature, which was present in Monster Hunter World, is returning in Monster Hunter Wilds. Number 15, your pop-out camps can and will be destroyed by monsters if they are not in a safe place while you are gone. However, they can be repaired by Palicos and be completely restored for the player's use. I like this, it makes the hunting more realistic, and you have to be strategic where you want to place your camps. It's also actually possible to accidentally lead a monster to your camp and then have them destroyed, so be careful where you are kiting them. Number 16, grilling meat is now a rhythm game that will award you with more meat if you play it well. I like this feature so you don't have to sit there and waste time cooking 10 raw meats like you did in previous titles to max out the amount of well-done steaks you can carry in your inventory. Number 17, background music will change dynamically based on fighting one monster or multiple monsters at a time. This is interesting. I guess it gives you a signal that you're in combat with multiple monsters when it switches from the single monster music track. Number 18, your sacred can automatically dodge monster attacks without pressing a button. However, if you try to exploit this, eventually will stop dodging. This is created so that players cannot infinitely abuse this mechanic. I'm glad that there is a blocker on this because otherwise it would just be really dumb to be able to dodge everything 24/7. Number 19, players can toggle between 3D renders and the original icons for armors and weapons in the equipment box. I like this feature because many veterans have been accustomed to the original artwork, but now if you're tired of the old school stuff, you can have something new to look at as well. Number 20, well done stakes will now increase both your maximum health and stamina. This is something I didn't expect, and I'm not sure why this change was made. It seems like there might no longer be a need to craft specific items like nutrients to boost your max HP or max potions. Honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about this. It seems like another quality of life change that might make the game even easier, similar to how you could move and drink a potion simultaneously in Monster Hunter World. Number 21, the secondary weapon mechanic is not available at the start of the game. You'll need to progress through the story for a while to unlock the ability to carry a second weapon in the field. However, the developer assured that this happens fairly quickly, which I think is a good thing. Number 22, your character will actually get covered in full sand when you roll in it, and you will be able to see the visual change on your character's armor. This is a small thing, but it's the small details that add to the immersion factor. Number 23, fighting Rathalos at his nesting site will be more challenging. The ground is covered in static, and if he uses a lightning attack, its area of effect will be larger and more dangerous for the hunter. However, you can counter this by equipping an item called the Insulator Pod. When used with your slinger, it will reduce some of the static and clear the ground area for you. I really like the fact that fighting monsters in their own territory is more challenging and making their home advantage more pronounced. Number 24, Amma will always accompany you in the field, providing support information, supplies, and even quests without needing to return to the village. I am okay with this as long as she's not constantly talking or intruding. I believe they've also mentioned that you can adjust some settings for her as well. Number 25, layered armor is coming to Monster Hunter Wilds. For those who aren't familiar, layered armor is similar to transmog in games like World of Warcraft, allowing you to change the appearance of your armor. However, it won't be available from the start of the game. You'll unlock parts of it gradually as you progress, and eventually it will be fully accessible. Number 26, it has been confirmed that if a hunter performs a perfect last second dodge with dual blades, they will receive a short buff. I think this is a great feature as it encourages players to improve their skills while also rewarding them with a buff. This mechanic will be particularly important for speedrunners. Number 27, if we look closely here, we can see Rathalos getting stunned by paratoads. This confirms two things. First, that paratoads are making a return and can be triggered from a distance with your hook slinger, and second, that Rathalos is immune to the effects of the great thunderbugs, but not the paratoads. Number 28, in this example, we saw the hunter using their hook slinger to pull a monster and draw aggro, even without any ammo. This is a neat mechanic that can help you control the flow of the battle and direct the monster's attention where needed. Number 29, great thunderbugs, which we discussed in the last video, only appear during the Sentide or fallow seasons. I really appreciate how specific seasons or weather conditions can impact gameplay and the hunt itself. Number 30, in this clip, the developer demonstrates the heavy bowgun's auto guard feature. That's right, the heavy bowgun can automatically guard against monster attacks without needing to press a button when you're up close. Since I'm not a heavy bowgun user, I can't offer much insight into how this impacts the weapon. However, I wanted to include this detail because I'm sure heavy bowgun users will have their thoughts on this feature in the comments. Number 31, earlier we saw the heavy bowgun's auto guard feature, but it also includes a manual parry mechanic. If you successfully perform a perfect manual guard against an attack, you'll trigger a power clash, initiating a tug of war with a monster monster. During this power clash, players will need to complete a quick time event by rapidly pressing the triangle button on your DualSense controller to win the struggle. Number 32, both light and heavy bowguns have basing ammo types like spread and pierce, which are limited by a gauge and not infinitely usable. To balance this, each gun's ammo level is fixed according to the weapon you create. Elemental ammo, on the other hand, still needs to be crafted as usual. While I'm not an expert on bowguns, I thought this information was worth mentioning. Unfortunately, the webcam overlay in the bottom right covers part of the gauge UI, but I'm sure our bowgun enthusiasts will understand what's being discussed. Number 33, during the plenty period in Windward Plains, a large number of vigor wasps will start to spawn. These bugs, especially the giant vigor wasps, provide healing. The giant vigor wasps seem to be a new addition as they are much larger than those in Monster Hunter World. This period highlights how different times of day provide a varying endemic life that can offer diverse benefits. Additionally, herbivores come out during this period as well because it's safer and they can have a drink. Number 34, after the Doshaguma was defeated and the quest complete icon appeared, Alma showed up to investigate the monster. More interestingly, the game now provides detailed descriptions of the monster materials, a feature returning from previous titles. Number 35, pop-up camps can only be placed in specific recommended locations. It's interesting that you can't just set up a camp anywhere, but must use designated spots the game guides you to. According to the UI, you can have up to 3 camps active at once, and it also indicates how safe each location is for setting up a camp. Not all recommended spots are ideal for camping. I appreciate the strategic aspect of managing camp placement, with the added challenge of safety and the limit of 3 camps at a time. Number 36, hunters can now pet and play with their palicos by pressing the R2 button while in a camp. As a cat lover myself, I'm sure many of us will really enjoy this charming new feature that's never been in a Monster Hunter game before. Number 37, in this demonstration, the developer prepares a shrimp and fish dish by combining a meat, fish, and veggies. You can cook this not only at a camp, but also using your portable BBQ grill, provided you have the necessary resources. The food looks so delicious and appetizing that I might keep real-life snacks nearby while playing Monster Hunter Wilds. The art director has ensured that the ingredients you gather are showcased in the cooking cutscene, adding to the immersion. Additionally, you can obtain extra portable ingredients in various ways, including trading with villagers. It's clear that the game is emphasizing full immersion with both cooking and trading, which I find fantastic. Number 38, the monster traces from Monster Hunter World make a return to Monster Hunter Wilds. As shown here, you can find Balahara's digging traces and scales. While you don't need to collect these traces to locate the monster, your secret or scout flies can do that. You will need to follow them during the storyline to learn about the monster's ecology and habitat for the very first time. Once you've completed this part of the story, following the tracers is no longer required. Number 39, according to the developer, bringing Balahara to life and making him move effectively in the environment was a challenging task due to his long serpentine body. Fortunately, they succeeded and he looks fantastic in action. This progress reminds me of our discussions about Arrekz. I believe we're getting closer to his return. If you haven't watched my video, should Arrekz return to Monster Hunter Wilds, click on the card in the top right. Number 40, capture nets are back and you can capture endemic life with them as demonstrated here in this clip. If you enjoyed capturing endemic life in World, then you can continue to do so in Monster Hunter Wilds. Number 41, here you can see the new bone gathering animation for picking up crafting materials from the bone pile, if you haven't seen it yet. It's also worth noting that materials can be gathered multiple times, unlike in Monster Hunter Rise, where collecting once provides all the materials. Number 42, here's what the full male Chatacabra set looks like in case you haven't seen it. I think it looks quite decent. I really want to see what the Chatacabra weapons look like though, besides the insect glaive, because that one was already shown off in the insect glaive weapon showcase. Number 43, Balahara can actually inflict water blight on hunters, and he also drops black pearls, a resource material previously associated with Hermitor and Centaur crabs. That's quite intriguing. I'm curious whether this suggests our favorite crab duo might make a return or not. Personally, I've always enjoyed battling them. Number 44. Fighting and killing entire herds is possible, but it's riskier. However, if you manage to take down the whole herd of Doshaguma instead of just separating them, you'll earn more rewards than if you only slay the alpha leader. Number 45. Like in Monster Hunter World, rare endemic creatures also appear in Monster Hunter Wilds, but only under specific conditions. Players will need to discover these conditions on their own. Number 46. You can have some fun by throwing barrels at your friends and blowing them up if they're nearby. These barrels deal significant damage to hunters, so I'm looking forward to using them to cart my friends when they're low on HP. Number 47. During a developer live stream interview, it was revealed that Monster Hunter Wilds has been in development for over 5 years, but less than 6. Gamescom 2024 marked the first time the game was shown publicly and made available for the general audience to try. This is quite intriguing, as it means development began around 2019. Let's put this into perspective. Monster Hunter World released on January 18, 2018, followed by Iceborne on September 6, 2019. Monster Hunter Wilds was announced on December 7, 2023, and now in 2024, we're seeing the game and people are getting to play it. The game is expected to release sometime next year, with my prediction being in the first quarter of 2025 between January and March. Based on this timeline, Monster Hunter 7th generation might begin development in 2026 and release around 2031 or 2032, with a Wilds expansion expected in 2026. And those are the 47 additional new things that you've learned today about Monster Hunter Wilds. Thank you all for watching. Let me know which one was your favorite and why. Don't forget to also mention which ones you did not like and why you didn't like them. Don't forget to like and subscribe with notifications turned on. Peace out and happy hunting.